Hey, this is Ron with Fishers of Men Outdoor Adventures. I'm coming back to you this morning how a flatlander can get in mountain shape. So down here in Central Texas, preparing for our mountain trip coming up next October. Right now we're late January 2023. Started this journey probably mid-December 2022. Been a couple years since I've been to Idaho, so kind of let myself go. I got pretty far out of shape. I was running about 220 pounds and hadn't worked out probably a little over a year and a half. So needless to say, it's time to get in shape. So I've been walking with my full pack about 6 miles, and what I do is I walk. It's a very gentle hill that's about 3 miles uphill, and then I sit and I practice my glassing, looking for deer, and just practice my glassing skills in general with my binoculars, with my spotting scope. I do that for about 30 minutes, and then I walk back to the house, which is about another 3 miles, which takes you to about 6 miles. Sometimes I go a little bit further. Sometimes I don't quite make it quite that far. So that's where I'm starting this journey. My pack has all my gear in it that I'm going to take on my hunt. The only thing I do not have on me right now is my chest binoculars and my rifle. But what I've done to compensate for not having that weight is I've taken the same amount of sand, the weight in some old socks that we didn't have pairs for. I filled them up, weighed them. So I have 10 pounds of weight that replaces the rifle weight, and I've got the same amount for my chest binocular set. So that will equate for all of my gear. When it's cold out, I will dress appropriately, just like if I was in Idaho. And then there's other days where we do other things, and I'll show you all that in another video, to get those leg muscles trained for the mountains. When you're in flatland, it's kind of hard to walk up big hills. This is not a very big hill at all where I'm going up. You can kind of see it's just a very gentle grade, but you got to start somewhere. We don't have mountains. We have stairs, and we have bar ditches with pretty good inclines next to the bridges. We'll be walking those in the next few days in our videos to show you how we do that. As we get closer to the hunt, I will be adding more weight to my pack. I would like to add another 25 to 30 pounds to my pack to simulate the packing out of an animal. Once I feel confident that I can carry the weight without becoming too fatigued, that's when I know that I'm prepared to go. I also have bought it's an altitude training mask. You can find them on walmart.com. They will simulate different levels of altitude from 5,000 all the way up to 12,000 feet. And there's different settings you can put on it. So as I progress, and this becomes super easy, which it should here in the next few weeks. First two and a half weeks are always the hardest. After that, I'll begin to use that training mask to get my lungs, not only my legs, but my lungs prepared for the altitude. One of the things that I do when preparing for this trip in flat land is occasionally along the way, I will do some leg lunges, or I will do some squats with my pack on, full pack on. You know, I may walk a half a mile and I may do 20 squats. Or I may walk a half a mile and I may do 10 leg lunges with each leg. And that is just helping to build those leg muscles to carry the additional weight of the pack, and build those stabilizer muscles in your legs and in your core that's going to be needed to stabilize the weight of the pack, because the pack's not always going to be super firm and tight, and sometimes the weight shifts and things like that. So this helps me to be able to maximize those stabilized muscles in the core and in the legs by doing these squats with the pack on. Now, you could go to a gym and you can do squats, and you can do leg lunges, and you can do all the leg workouts, and those are fine. They'll get you there. They'll do the job. The only thing is you're not going to be working those stabilizer muscles that you need, especially when you're on uneven terrain. So like right now, I'm literally, this is a road that not many people live down. There's only about 8 houses, and they're separated by hundreds of acres per house. So right now I'm walking down the middle of the road. But as I get around the corner, the ground in the side and the bar ditches become much more steep. I'll have about a 45-degree incline on each side of the bar ditch. It's not very much, but it's about 25-30 feet. I know that's nothing, but I do try to walk in that bar ditch with my pack on, even though it's not a lot, because walking on that 45-degree slope is going to be about like what it is when you're walking on a 45-degree slope at 8,000 feet. Now, not the same with your lungs, but with your legs, working those core muscles and working those stabilizer muscles in the core and in the legs, being able to stabilize the weight on that 45-degree shoulder of this small country road helps to build that and practice that now, because when you're up in the mountains, there's going to be lots of times where you're not walking on flat ground. You're walking on a 45-degree slope sideways, and you're trying to traverse the mountains to cut off an animal that's a mile away, and you're having to walk across 45 degrees angle the whole entire way. And if you're not prepared for that, that's when you can slip, fall, and get hurt. And you don't want to do that in the mountains. You want to prepare yourself now and not wait until you get to that far. So I'll be checking in with you in a little bit. On my next video, we'll be looking at glassing, how I practice my glassing down here in Texas. You know, we don't have very much public land, so most everything's private, but we do living out here in the country. Even if you live in a big city like Temple or Austin or San Antonio, it's only a short drive to get outside of town, and you can do a walk like this too. So don't be discouraged if you don't have a country road or a gentle slope. There's other ways you can get around that. So we'll get back to you here soon.